name is Dr. Nathan Groot. I am a music instructor at the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts, where I teach string ensemble and applied string lessons, among other music courses. Today we're going to be taking a look at Polovetzian dances by Borodin, and this is a viola excerpt, viola-only excerpt for the Set 2 2024 Junior High South region of the state packet. This is for the all-region audition this year in 2024. So you'll notice that we have 3 sharps here. We have F sharp, we have C sharp, and we have G sharp. G sharp might be the one that you're least used to seeing, but it doesn't really come up that much. There's just, I think, 2 of them in the whole thing. So if you're not used to it, you can always mark it in your part just to remind yourself. The keys associated with 3 sharps, of course, are A major and its relative minor, F sharp minor. This looks like it's probably an F sharp minor. So those are some scales that might be useful to practice a little bit right before you play this piece. I often like to practice the scale right before I practice the piece or excerpt, just to kind of root myself in that key. So it's in 2/2, which is cut time, but our metronome marking is quarter note equals 84. So I think that what we can take from that is probably that we can count it in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but to sort of make it feel like it's in 2. So you can count it in 4, but make it feel like it's in 2. How do we do that? We just want to avoid making it super beaty. So bum, 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 bum. We want to avoid making especially beats 2 and 4 sound really beaty. So you might want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to kind of emphasize 1 and 3, and especially emphasize 1 to show that it's in 4 but it has a 2 kind of a feel. Okay, this is moderato 84, not super fast. We also have an expressive marking rather than a dynamic. This is dolce and cantabile. So dolce, sweetly, cantabile, singing. So this is sweetly singing through this. So, nice and big, but also remember to keep it very sweet and lyrical, and sort of enjoy this great viola moment with this beautiful melody. So this is sweetly singing. I think you can really move through the bow here. So there are places where you're not going to want to use the whole bow, like individual quarter notes. Not going to want to do that. But here, you can just go here. Don't use too much. Now you can move. Keep moving here. On this up bow, you're going to want to move so that you have enough bow on the down bow that ties into measure 6, right? But you don't want this to be artificially accented, right? So here you're going to want to use more speed, less weight. Move. So you have all these slurs. Move through the bow. Use your whole bow on those slurs. When you have the individual notes, with the exception of that 1 F sharp on the downbeat of 5, just stay where you are and don't try to move through the bow on individual quarters or individual eighths. Okay, so we're going to tackle 2 big issues and then sort of do some practicing. The first issue I want to tackle is this idea of grace notes. So grace notes are these little tiny guys who you see sort of grouped before a quarter note, a normal quarter note. We don't count them as part of the beat. These are just like little decorations. They're ornaments. So one thing that grace notes often do to players is they will distort the rhythm. So someone might be playing this and go, and suddenly who knows what meter we're in anymore, because we've just added all this extra time to put the grace notes in. One thing that we're going to do when we practice this together in a moment is I'm going to play it once without the grace note and once with the grace note. So if we think about 1, 2, 3, 4, that D falls on beat 3, right? So we want the grace note to not displace things necessarily. We want it to just be filigree, just added to it, okay? So if we add that grace note back in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and see how those grace notes were nice and quick? Bum bum ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Just make sure that they're not displacing the rhythm, and practicing once without the grace notes and then adding them back in, but keeping that rhythm there is one good way to do that. With the grace notes, try not to sort of get caught up or sort of stuck in the mud with them. Just sort of throw them off and don't worry about them too much. Just sort of add them in. If you need to practice it really slowly, that's fine. So like you might isolate this. Just to sort of get that timing right, and then increase the speed from there. Okay, so now for the really tricky topic. I will admit I spent more time thinking about the fingerings for this one than anything else that I've prepared for junior high all region, and that's because the fingerings here are not immediately clear, at least to me. Maybe someone else would immediately, know the best thing to do. I sort of decided on some fingerings that I think are functional, that work. However, if your teacher has a different opinion, for sure, listen to them. This is just one person's opinion on it, and to be honest, my opinion could be swayed if someone had another interesting idea. So I opted for less shifting, but more string crossing. It would be totally reasonable for anybody to say, I don't want to do the string crossing, I just want to shift back and forth. And if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine, and it'll probably sound beautiful. I will share the fingerings that I settled on, but these are by no means the only fingerings you could use. Okay. So I start in first position, and then shift up to third position. Why not just start in third position on B? You could, for sure. I think, though, that fifth, going from 3 to 3 on a different string, is just a little too hard. So in general, I like to avoid that fingering anywhere of a fifth unless it's just unavoidable. So this, I think we have enough time to shift up to third position. So when you're shifting, just remember that from first through second to third position, your hand remains the same. So your thumb, everything just goes like a train on a train track, right? So you're just gonna go up that way. The finger's just gonna glide. This is also a good opportunity for a guide tone, and that note would be D. So you might practice it B, B, D, F sharp. And then it eventually disappears, but you can actually still hear it. And in fact, when I hear people playing and I can hear that guide tone, I really like it. Not everyone will, but I really like hearing the guide tone. I think it's very expressive, but it also tells me that they're shifting correctly, which I like as a string teacher. So, you are up in third position, you have your F sharp down. You've just done this big down bow. Just play those eighth notes at the tip. Then we have these grace notes. 1, 2, 1. Now what to do with the C sharp, really? You could shift down, and and then do a finger replacement. That's a perfectly fine fingering, by the way. What I decided was just to go on the D string in third position for the C sharp and the B as a fourth finger and a third finger. It's a little bit treacherous for intonation, so more than likely you're going to have to practice pivoting just a little bit with your elbow and really feeling that third finger and fourth finger curved and on the tip. If that fingering isn't working for you, let me know. I can help maybe think of an alternative for you. But this is one that is a little treacherous, but also doesn't make you shift all over the place just for a few notes. Okay, we've played this. We've done our little string crossing thing. Still in third position here, but then we shift down. I think this one's pretty obvious. We can do 2, 3, 2, 1, 0. Should you do a fourth finger? Sure, you can. Some teachers are adamant that no open A strings ever. I'm not quite that adamant about it, so I think it's okay to play a quick eighth note open string there personally, because that is going to be in tune and I can just go straight over to the F sharp. So now we're on this F sharp. Hold it over. Then halfway through measure 6, we have another grace note. These I would use a fourth finger. Why? They're eighth notes. Why use an open string earlier and a fourth finger here? The reason is we have this G sharp. And the A string will keep ringing. This is the same time as the G sharp. And that interval of a minor second is pretty dissonant. So there's a chance you could hear a dissonant interval there. So that's why I recommend going 1, 2, 1, 4, high 3, remember it's a G sharp, and then 4 again. And then here, same thinking. So in the last measure, I go 2, high 3, 4, 2. So to use that fourth finger again, because you don't want the G sharp and the A to sound at the same time. And then you're done, okay? All right, so we're going to build this up from 60 on the metronome up to our goal tempo of 84. We're going to do this in a little bit of a different way than I normally do it. We're going to play it first with no grace notes, and then again with grace notes. Also remember that there are a lot of different ways to practice outside of just going from beginning to end. In fact, there are some really effective ways to isolate spots and just go note by note. I definitely encourage you to use those, but for the purposes of this video, I'll just be going from beginning to end at different tempos. Okay? Here is quarter note equals 60, no grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Same tempo, 60, but with grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Here is 70 without grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. tempo, 70, but with grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Here is our goal tempo of 84 without grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Here is 84, our goal tempo with grace notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so, it's an interesting, beautiful excerpt. It's deceptively difficult and kind of tricky. However, if you have any questions, if I've missed something, which is very possible, just let me know in the comments below, or you can email me through my website. I would be happy to hear from you and help you out if I can in the run-up to your audition. But otherwise, I hope this video was somewhat helpful to you, and I wish you the best of luck in your audition in the fall. Happy practicing.